gave Dak all that money. No way that's going on. No way at all. It was a great NFL week. Great NFL week, especially for those whose teams won. Yes. I would like to get into the situation with Ime Duka. And that situation. Mm, that situation is weird because I was watching an interview with Matt Barnes today, and Matt Barnes said that normally when stuff like this goes on in the organization, it's kind of swept under the rug. The people are talked to, especially if it's consensual. But he knows some people that knows what's going on in the organization. He said it's not about what Ime Udoka did. It's about who he did it with. And he didn't give up any names, which is fine. But this brings this up. I was always taught not to, how can I say this on FCC airwaves, not to defecate where you live, where you eat. Don't do that. And Ime Udoka made enough money he could go out and get himself a good looking local girl. He didn't have to do it in the organization. That was just really sloppy. It's a bad look, and I'm actually getting tired of people saying, "Oh, Nia Long, she's so fine. How could he do it to Nia Long?" I mean, we don't know what was going on in their relationship, and he's a man, and he didn't feel fulfilled there. I'm not excusing what he did. What he did was wrong, but at the same time, let's stop the internet chatter. We saw the internet was wrong last week when they posted one young lady's picture out there, said she was the woman, and she got slandered all over the internet. So you can't follow the internet. That was a shame. That was a travesty in itself. And then we have reporters going back and forth about it. Malika Andrews, she decided that she wanted to go at Stephen A. Smith on First Take. I actually was watching that, and Stephen A. shut that down. He was told her she wasn't going to tell him what to do on his show, which leads me to leads into how this situation is just so combative and everything. And Malika Andrews is a young lady. She's 27 years old, and I'm happy for her. She's 27. That means she's 5 years out of college, working at ESPN. That's great. But I think she's going about things the wrong way when she's going at Stephen A. Smith and going at other NBA players. And a lot of NBA players get irritated with her. Matter of fact, they're calling for Rachel Nichols to come back. The internet is chattering for Rachel Nichols to come back. But she's the sole sports reporter at CNN, so she's not coming back. She has her own gig. So that's not going to happen. But it's just the wrong way to go about things. And Malika Andrews, the people asking her to be fired. I don't think she should be fired. I think she should just ease up, a little bit. Also, I don't believe that Ime Udoka is going to ever coach again in the NBA. It's when you do something what he's accused of doing, allegedly. How can anybody trust you in the organization? How can any owner or vice president or president of basketball operations ever trust you? It's going to be tough for him to find an elite job in the NBA or even an elite job in college. I mean, it might get to the point where he will be working for a smaller college, something like that. I mean, let's think about it. This man's decision-making skills, like as a coach, is great, but as a human being, I mean, why would you risk losing millions of dollars just for Uh, let's just say it, just for sex. So you risk that. That's bad decision making. But I don't wish any negativity on this man. I wish and pray that he and Nia Long can get through this. The woman that he was dealing with, I pray and wish that her and her husband can get through this. And anybody that's going through a situation like this, I pray and wish that you can get through it as well. It's a tough situation. It destroys families. It's tough. I've had friends and I've known people that go through things like this, and it's tough. And the bad thing that also is that Nia Long was coming out to Boston looking at houses and looking to move out there. Now she has to deal with this. I've never met Nia Long, of course, but she seems like a good woman. I mean, somebody made the joke that she should have stayed with Craig, and because he fought Debo for her. So somebody made that joke. Thought it was a pretty funny joke. But I want to know how this will affect the Boston Celtics as a team, because the players really enjoyed Ime Udoka. He was a good coach. He took them to the NBA Finals. He swept the Brooklyn Nets. He beat the Milwaukee Bucks, the reigning NBA champions. He lost to the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. I mean, I actually had Boston winning. I believed Boston had enough to win. I was wrong, of course, and Steph Curry just took them apart. We need to look at this as a lesson. Just a lesson in decision making, a lesson in valuing what you have, and in communication. Communication is a two-way street. Communication means when I'm talking to you, you're listening and you're giving me information back, not just talking over me. And I'm not saying that's what was going on in his relationship with Nia Long, but that goes on in a lot of relationships, not just romantic, but family relationships, business relationships. So I just really want all parties to be able to get through this. It just bothers me that a good brother, that a black man, that where few black men get a chance to coach high-profile teams, just squandered it. And it's sad that sometimes a sister like a Malika Andrews finds a situation where she attacks black men when we should. It's not a lot of us in these venues, so just need to stick together. But stay tuned for our next segment on the Keep It 1 Minute Show.
Okay, not bad. Just remember when you come into the beginning of the show to welcome them to the show. Because you just started talking.
Yeah, I just started talking.
It's like they don't know what they listen to. And then remember to give the phone number for people to call in.
Request line. All right.
Okay, you got 30 seconds.
So.
Oh, no, you don't. You got more than 30 seconds.
Oh, no. Yeah, I give him his props all the time. I tell him, I don't know how you do a 2-hour show by yourself, man. Like,
And then remember, you're also on YouTube right now.
oh. Okay.
I mean, you could talk to them while you're in the break, too. So.
Yeah. No, it's a good experience, though. It's a good experience.
You could also let them know they can call in.
Oh, they can. If you want to call in, it's 602-633-2662. 602-633-2662.
All right, stand by.
Welcome to the Keep It 1 Million show. You listen to your boy Sean P. Dwayne had an appointment today, so I am holding it down. If you want to call in, the number is 602-633-2662. Once again, that's 602-633-2662. I would like to get into a little subject right now. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge just hit his 61st home run, and he tied Roger Maris. Now, I don't know if any of you seen the movie about Roger Maris. It starred Barry Pepper, and I can't remember the actor that played Mickey Mantle, but they both were, this is in their heyday, and they both were going for the record that Babe Ruth set. And the record that he had was 60 home runs in the season. And they were going for the record, and it showed you exactly what Barry Pepper was going through. A lot of people wanted Mickey to get it because Mickey was their guy. And Roger Maris went through a lot of hard times to get that record. And they put an asterisk next to it because they said it took him, because they lengthened the baseball season. So if he would have got 61 when in the amount of games that Babe Ruth got 61, they would have been like, okay, cool. But they put an asterisk next to it because he got the record in more games. And there was a lot of politics with that. I believe eventually, I believe they did remove the asterisk because it was just silly to put that asterisk on that. What they did to that man was a shame. Went through a lot of turmoil. But Aaron Judge just hit 61, and it still begs the question of the true record. I just read an article that Roger Maris' son said that Aaron Judge is the true home run king if he for the season if he hits 62. I'm not going to go that far because the reason why he's saying it is because of the PEDs with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, and then Barry Bonds. I'm not going to say that because I'm not going to do that to Barry Bonds, because I am old enough to remember when Barry Bonds played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And if you take his Pittsburgh Pirates career, he's a Hall of Fame right there. When he went to the Giants and started using the PEDs, that's when people were like, oh, this and this is wrong. When they actually didn't have any, he never failed the drug test. So, and here's the thing about PEDs in baseball. Not everybody, but a lot of players were using them. So a lot of players were just trying to keep up with one another. A lot of the batters were trying to keep up with the pitchers. A lot of the pitchers were trying to keep up with the batters. So I don't believe that Barry Bonds should be blamed for that. Now, as far as Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, that's a little bit different because they weren't that good. You could tell when they started using them. They weren't that good. They weren't that great, I should say. Great. They were good, but they weren't that great before they started using them. Then when they started using them, that's when they was like, boom. Whereas Bonds was just great. And they're keeping him out of the Hall of Fame, and I don't agree with that. And if you want to call in at 602-633... Excuse me. 602-633-2662. And we could talk about it because I believe Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the Baseball Hall of Fame has traditionally been tough for players to get into. The Baseball Hall of Fame, I always believed, was the hardest Hall of Fame to get into. I ranked them Baseball Hall of Fame, then Football Hall of Fame, which is the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Then I put basketball up there at third, a distant third, actually. And then fourth was hockey. Then I always make a joke and say number 5 is WWE Hall of Fame. So, but baseball was always tough. Jim Rice took him years to get in. It's because the writers vote you in. And when the writers and the journalists don't like you or don't get along with you, they can make it hard on you. And that's what they did with. That's what they did with. That's what they're doing with Barry Bonds, pretty much, because he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Football also does it. They did it with Terrell Owens. I mean, man, that brother should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But so to me, the home run king and one of the greatest hitters to ever do is Barry Bonds. I mean, this guy. They would intentionally walk this man with the bases loaded. Who does that? The base loaded. They would intentionally walk this man. So that's how feared he was. He was, and they would only pitch to him a few times, and he would launch those things out of the park. Oh my goodness, man! That guy was amazing. I mean, if you go look up his records, I mean, he won through, I believe it was 3 or 4 MVPs in Pittsburgh, and then he won a few more in San Francisco. It's just totally amazing what he did with that baseball bat. And let's talk about Pete Rose, because we're talking about the Hall of Fame. We're talking about Aaron Judge, and people saying future Hall of Famer. Pete Rose, he has the record for most hits. And yes, he was gambling on the game. He shouldn't have been gambling on the game. Now he stands on this to this day that he never bet against his team. He only bet like for his team. So he stands by that. And this guy was an amazing baseball player. I mean, he was one of those type players that he hit for average, which Aaron Judge is also doing. I believe he's still in the running for the Triple Crown. Those who don't know what the Triple Crown is, the Triple Crown for baseball that means you lead the league in home runs, you lead the league in RBIs, runs batted in, and you lead the league in batting average, which is extremely hard to do. Like some people can do the home runs because you just pow out of the park. You just swinging for the fences. But to hit for average and runs batted in, it's very hard to get a Triple Crown. And I can't remember the last Triple Crown guy, but I believe he was in the American League as well. So Aaron Judge is doing a phenomenal thing. So I don't want to diminish Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge, he's like 6'7", 6'8", like 250 pounds. I mean, the way he swings the bat is majestic. It's like he swings it, and then he has that swing where you swing and you let the bat go, and then you flick it with the one arm. It's just a beautiful swing. Not as beautiful as Ken Griffey Jr.'s, but a beautiful swing. And I don't think we should diminish Aaron Judge, because he's having a phenomenal season, especially if he gets that Triple Crown. Just a phenomenal season. And it's also helping the Yankees get into the playoffs, looking at a World Series. I mean, this is just an amazing thing to watch. And don't get it twisted. I enjoyed when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were doing their thing, with hitting the home runs and everything. I was right there by the TV, glued to the TV, like, who's going to hit the next one? Who's going to hit the next one? Every time Sammy hit the ball, he would skip. And, I remember when Mark McGwire broke the record, and it was against the Cubs, and Sammy came over and hugged him. And they were both up there, and then Mark McGwire gave that jarring speech about talking to Roger Maris's family and everything. I mean, it was totally awesome. It was an awesome experience, especially since years prior, baseball went through that strike. And when they went through that strike, it just took a lot of the fans away. So that the home run race brought the fans back. So I do appreciate Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa for that. And I don't denigrate them for using the PEDs. I'm not going to do that. But I will always stand by the fact that, they got a lot of love, and Barry got a lot of hate. But Barry Bonds did bring a lot of that on himself. He did. And with that, he just was not endearing to his reporters, and that goes back to how he was raised. His father, and his godfather, was Willie Mays. The way they raised him to believe he had the right to talk down to people, he had the right to treat people badly, and he grew up thinking he was better, and he looked down on a lot of people. So a lot of times people remember how you treated them, and when it's your turn up and when you're trying to get in somewhere, they hold it against you. I mean, people do that to people in regular life. So just imagine how it is when you're a big celebrity and you're on the biggest stage, and these writers, with a stroke of their pen, can pretty much almost control your life. I remember there was a journalist named Michael Smith. He used to be with ESPN, and he said something that was poignant. He said, "I'm the difference between if you just dropped the pass, or if the quarterback just was off the mark a little bit, you know." So pretty much he was saying, you wanna treat me a little bit better, then that depends on how I write your story. And that's why a lot of athletes today are taking back the narrative. You see a lot of podcasts out there like Darius Miles and Q Richardson with Knuckleheads and All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. A lot of these athletes are taking the narrative over. You know, the Pivot podcast with the Ryan Clark, and I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall. They're taking the narrative back, and they are controlling their own narrative, which I like. Because they can have the athletes on there and talk about these things. I would love them to have Barry on there, and so Barry could tell his story and tell how he feels and how he copes with all of this. And I found out something interesting when I was researching this, the home runs and everything, that Barry Bonds actually went to Arizona State, and his college coach had issues with him. So these issues with Barry has been going on since college and before, more than likely. I just choose to remember Barry Bonds when he played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I remember, even though this is a bad memory for him, I just remember when he playing the Braves and he caught that. He didn't catch the ball, but he catch the ball out of the air for an out, but he got the ball and he played left field. He got the ball down the home plate, and the throw was just a little off, and he got all the blame for that. That was his last season in Pittsburgh. He's just like, man. Yeah, they had a really good team. Yeah, Pittsburgh Pirates. They had Barry Bonds, they had Bobby Bonilla, they had Dre Bat. I mean, man, had an awesome team that season, those years, and had a good team in San Francisco as well. Great manager in Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker's still there. Oh, he's coaching Houston. And it's just interesting how outside factors can control your life almost, or your sports life. I should say control your sports legacy. I mean, I just find that very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, next up, a little bit of boxing. We got Fury and Joshua, set for December. And this is going to be a great time for boxing. Crawford versus Spence. Now, here's the thing about Crawford and Spence. We've been asking for this fight for a long time. A long time. And we finally got it because none of us wanted to get a Pacquiao Mayweather situation where we get in a fight years later, everything. But what I see happening, I'm going to talk about Crawford Spence first. What I see happening with Crawford and Spence, see, Crawford has this insane ability. I mean, he gets a lot of guys as the fight goes on, he grinds it out. I believe Spence is going to do well in the fight in the beginning, but I believe that Crawford is going to get a stoppage in like the 10th or the 11th round. And when he stops people, he stops them. I mean, like Sean Porter, I like Sean Porter a lot. Tough guy. But I knew when he went down in that fight that first time he got up, he was doing his thing, and then when he got hit again and he went down, his father Kenny threw the towel because he knew how dangerous of a finisher Crawford is. He didn't want his fighter to get hurt, and that's what I see with Spence. I think Spence is going to do well, but I think Crawford is going to get him. And I'm more so looking for like the rematch because there's always more money in the rematch. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to Fury and Joshua, but I got Fury beating him. Fury is deceptively good and technical. He doesn't look like it because he's really tall. I think he's like almost 7 feet. Really tall, big, but man, he could move his feet. He could put together his punches, and I believe he's going to be too much for Joshua. I believe he's going to wear Joshua down, and I believe he's going to go the distance, and I believe it's going to be a unanimous decision in Tyson Fury's in his favor. Also, we got Katie Taylor, who is the pound for pound #1 woman boxer in the world. Now, Clarissa Shields can do something about that if she get a win over Savannah Marshall. So Clarissa Shields is a great fighter. Now, I know a lot of people might not know this. Like, they'll say, oh, is Clarissa Shields going to fight Katie Taylor? No, they're two different weight classes. Clarissa Shields is middleweight, Katie Taylor is lightweight. So they'll never meet up. But Katie Taylor she's nice. She's nice. That's a fight that we're looking forward to. Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, and Katie Taylor's next fight. Very good time for boxing. They've been going at it back and forth with UFC, but boxing is still big out there in Vegas. Still big out there in Vegas, and as long as they put together good fights, boxing will be fine. It will be fine. You got Shakur Stevenson out there, Tank Davis. Got a lot of good fighters. A lot of good fighters that deserve their props. Also got Mayweather out there. Everyone. Mayweather, he boxed a kickboxer. Knocked him out. He got paid $200 million for that fight. Say whatever you want to say about Floyd Mayweather Jr. The man knows how to make money. He knows how to get the bag. He knows how to secure the bag. He knows how to live a good life. Okay, everyone, we'll be right back. Keep it 1 minute show.
Just remember to talk in like this. You want your mic to be like this. Okay? Because you kind of had it like that. And
oh, had it to the side? Okay.
yeah, and sometimes, because these mics are made to be, they're not the omnidirectional ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones where you got to kind of be right there.
Okay.
Because there was a point where we couldn't hear you.
All right.
So Again, remember, you can talk to the YouTube audience.
I keep forgetting they're still thinking it's like a commercial.
And you
Yeah,
got
so
30
net.
seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds? Okay.
Okay, stand by.
Yes, we are back. The Keep It 1 Million show. You're listening to Sean P. Dwayne has an appointment today, so it's just me right now. He'll be back next week. Brett Favre. I remember when Brett Favre got drafted into the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons. And he played down there with Deion Sanders and everything. And I remember when he got traded to the Green Bay Packers, and sky's the limit. He was a gunslinger. I mean, when he was hot, he was hot. When he was cold, he was cold. Those gunslingers, boy, like him, Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben, gunslinger, man. One game he'll throw for like 400 yards, 6 touchdowns. Next game he'll throw for like 200 yards, 6 interceptions. You know, Ben Roethlisberger will go to the Hall of Fame. Brett Favre is already there. He was in the same class as Terrell Owens. That was a good class. That was Brett Favre. No, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Brett Favre was introducing the players as they came out on stage. I'm sorry. Terrell Owens' class was him, Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, Brian Urlacher, I believe. Brian Urlacher. Randy Moss. It's a good class. But Brett Favre, it's a pretty disgusting situation. Welfare fraud. Really? I mean, stealing money from people who need the money. I mean, he wasn't Robin Hood, he was Hood Robin. I mean, he was straight just Hood Robin. I mean, oh my goodness. And let me tell you, this is a federal crime. The feds ain't no joke. I follow this guy on YouTube named Michael Francis. He's an ex-mob guy. He was a captain in the Colombo crime family at one point. And he said, you know, if you beat the feds, you're doing a good job. But when the feds want you, they're gonna get you. They got their T's crossed and their I's dotted. They have a 98% conviction rate. They are after Brett Favre. I mean, and they're going to get him. They are going. I believe that they're going to get him because there's a report out there. I was watching ESPN and they said that the former governor told him, "Hey, what we're doing is illegal," and he went and did it anyway. So I mean, come on, Brett, you're better than that. I mean, this is the same guy. I mean, I watched win the Super Bowl. I mean, just the swag. He's better than this. I mean, man, it's like, how narcissistic can you be? You don't want to do something like this. Like to think that you could get away with it. But let's just understand that all these charges are alleged, though. He allegedly did these things, but these alleged charges are disgusting. Brett Favre was a fantasy football darling. Speaking of football, the Cincinnati Bengals are up on the Miami Dolphins 17-15. And since we're on the subject of fantasy, I have T. Higgins playing. And this past week, I got shellacked in one of my leagues, my Yahoo league. Oh, I got beat bad. I got beat in my ESPN league. I only won the CBS league that I'm in. Yeah, but fantasy football, the game's coming up, you want to think about if you had Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, you might want to play them. They're playing against the Falcons. Those are good plays. Patterson, that plays for the Falcons, you might not want to play it. Browns defense is really good. And my pick for that game, I got the Browns over the Falcons, and I have the Vikings over the Saints. For the Commanders, fantasy-wise, you might want to play CeeDee Lamb. Pollard, you're going to want to play Pollard. Definitely going to want to play him. I have the Cowboys winning that game. Also, the Seattle Seahawks are playing the Detroit Lions. Like I said, DeAndre Swift might not be playing in that game, so if you wanted to try to pick up Jamal Williams or maybe Craig Reynolds, maybe. But I actually have Detroit. I have Detroit in that game. Detroit's actually not bad, not as bad as they were last season. They're going to be better this year. Also, you have the Colts and the Titans. You always want to play Derrick Henry, and you want to play. The Colts running back. His name escapes me at this time, but you want to play him. Jonathan Taylor. You want to play Jonathan Taylor. I have the Colts winning that game. Giants and the Bears. Both 2-1. You're going to want to play Justin Fields, play Saquon Barkley. I have the Giants in that game. My beloved Eagles fly against the Jaguars. Of course, you want to play Carson. I don't know if I was about to say Carson Wentz. But you want to play Jalen Hurts. I believe you could play. Of course, you want to play A.J. Brown. You can play Devonta Smith if you want. I have Goddard, so you can play Goddard for the Jaguars. I wouldn't play Lawrence. I mean, the Eagles' defense is just nasty. Doug Peterson coming back to Philadelphia, he's going to get some cheers. He's not going to get booed. He's going to get some cheers. We got the Steelers against the Jets. I got the Jets because one of my good friends, he's a Steelers fan. He actually wants the Jets to defeat the Steelers so they can just start the Kenny Pickett era. So I got the Jets because, I mean, they just need to just go ahead and start this kid. Trubisky is not the answer. Okay, we got the Ravens and the Bills, both 2-1. I have the Ravens winning. I believe that Lamar Jackson is going to do his thing against this dominant Bills defense. I believe that Lamar Jackson is the real deal, and he's going to do his thing. Definitely. And that's a fantasy play right there. Lamar Jackson. I think J.K. Dobbins might be back. If you have him, I wouldn't play him. I just would see how he would do before I played him, especially against that defense. Got the Chargers against the Texans. I would start Justin Herbert. And I got the Chargers winning that one. Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. Fantasy wise, start Kyler Murray. Start James Conner. Don't start Baker Mayfield. I know he's not any of y'all starting quarterback, so he's probably y'all back up for a bye week. Got the Cardinals. That game. Patriots and the Packers. Got the Packers. Of course, you're always going to start Aaron Rodgers. If Jacoby Myers is not hurt, start him. Broncos and the Raiders. Raiders 0-3. I thought the Raiders would be 3-0. Didn't think that would happen. I do have Derek Carr, and I'm going to start him. Thought he'd be having a better season, but he's not terrible, though. Also, Javonte Williams for the Broncos. Start him. Chiefs and the Buccaneers. Of course, you're going to start Mahomes, Kelsey. You're going to start those guys. Buccaneers, you're going to start Brady. I believe Mike Evans is coming back, right? If he's back, start him. And I have the Chiefs. I have Mahomes beating Brady. And the Monday night game is the Rams and the 49ers. I have the Rams beating the 49ers. I would start Cooper Kupp, definitely. Deebo Samuels, definitely. And if your league lets you pick defensive players, start Aaron Donald. Donald. These are some interesting NFL games. Right now, 17-15, Cincinnati. Tight game. Tight game. The games I'm truly interested in next week are, of course, I'm always interested in the Eagles games, but besides that, I am interested to see the Chiefs and the Buccaneers because it's a Super Bowl rematch, and I want to see if Mahomes can defeat Brady. The youngin against the OG, the GOAT. I'm truly interested to see that. I'm interested in, believe it or not, in the Chargers Texans because I didn't expect the Chargers to be 1-2. I expected them to at least be 2-1. I really, really, truly am interested in the Baltimore-Buffalo game. That one I really want to watch because Lamar Jackson is betting on himself and he's winning. If Lamar Jackson wins the MVP this year, do you think they're gonna give him that money? What he's asking for? He's asking for a fully guaranteed contract. pretty much. I believe that they would have to give it to him. If he won the Super Bowl, I remember when they won the Super Bowl, they gave Joe Flacco all that money. So I believe that if he wins the Super Bowl, they're almost going to have to. Either that or they're going to have to franchise him. Well, no, they will franchise him, but he wants that contract fully guaranteed. He wants that contract fully guaranteed. The question is, football is an extremely dangerous sport. Football is like you're one injury away. I mean, from not playing anymore. He had that ankle injury last year, and he showed you that without him, the team wasn't as good. So that's why the organization is very wary of giving him a fully guaranteed contract. And I get it, but if this guy balls out of control, I mean, and you don't give him this money, you can't keep franchising him. He's going to walk. It's a pretty dire situation. Well, they are 2-1, so it's not dire on the losing tip, but it's like this is your franchise guy. You have to do something about it. And he said he's not going to talk any contract talk during the season. He's being unconventional about it too. He has his mom brokering his contract. So we will see you the next segment. The Keep It 1 Million Show with Sean P.
So are you using a different on-air name? Because I was using your real name.
Oh, that's fine. My real name's fine. It's just I got that name, and military, they just give you nicknames.
So what would you like to use on there? And that's what we'll change it to.
Sean P is fine. Okay.
All right, you got 8 minutes.
8 minutes? All right. Oh, snap. I ain't seen I'm going to talk about this.
Just P or P with a period?
P with a period. Or is it delayed? Shoot, two it just got hurt. Okay. I'll talk about that. So two it tickets to the hospital. Head next
KRDP features a mix of jazz, blues, R&B, soul, and eclectic programming from the Valley community, Arizona, and around the world. We encourage you to financially support KRDP with a sustaining monthly donation. You can donate right now.
Oh my God, that's
at
bad.
our website by going to listen.
They said that
the number 2.
They said that Tua got hit
and click on
by the
donate.
nose tackle, and it appeared that his
Financial
arms
support is
seized
graciously
up.
appreciated. Broadcasting
And this is the
from
reason why they don't want to give
KRDP
fully guaranteed
jazz
contracts.
and indie, where the value
Oh,
comes
my
to
goodness.
talk, sing, connect.
The
KRDP,
Dolphins,
Apache
I would say
Junction,
so.
Goldfield Ghost Town,
Davis County,
Phoenix,
Japan.
90.7 FM in the East Valley, and online at Listen, the number 2, KRDP.com, a service of Desert Soul Media.
Views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Desert Soul Media and its board of directors.
All right, you can say hello again.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all doing out there? Just looking at this article right now. Tua, the quarterback from Miami Dolphins, got hit by the nose tackle of Cincinnati Bengals. And they said he went down. He said his arms looked like they seized up. And I was just saying this is the reason why Baltimore, like a lot of the football, not a lot, all the football teams do not like to give fully guaranteed contracts because all it takes is one hit.
It's just random. It's pulling T.J. Jackson.
He said, he's pulling what?
It pulled a T.J. Jackson song. I said, this is really random.
TJ, I never even heard of T.J. Jackson.
He's one of Michael's nephews. He was in
okay.
that band 3T back
Oh,
in the day.
he was part of that band. I remember 3T.
He's Tito's, one of Tito's sons.
Okay, I remember 3T. They actually had a pretty good song. A couple songs were pretty decent. If any of y'all out there got T. Higgins, I'm playing T. Higgins tonight. Got 7 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. So in this league, I got 25 points. I'm beating my father-in-law so far. His league.
Remind them how they can contact the show and stay connected with you guys. You guys got social media?
Yes. You can call into the studio, 602-633-2662. Also, my social media, my Instagram is SP Mills. That's actually my Instagram. Yeah, that's how you get me, Instagram, SP Mills, Instagram. That's the fastest way I can get back to you. I don't really check Facebook too well. Also, you can hit up KRDP. Facebook at KRDP.radio. Twitter at KRDP_radio. Instagram at KRDP_radio. And also check out our YouTube page. You need to get the YouTube page.
2 minutes.
2 more minutes. Let me get this article up, and then I will talk about that. About to go back on, y'all.
Stand by.
Welcome back to the Keep It 1 Million show with Sean P. Dwayne had a appointment today, so you just got me today. You can reach KRDP at our social media handles: Facebook at KRDP.radio, Twitter at KRDP_radio, Instagram at KRDP_radio. You can reach me on Instagram at SP Mills. Got some news for you. Just saw this on ESPN. Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua was taken to the local hospital with the head and neck injuries. Suffered on a second quarter sack in Thursday night's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. He was hit in the back of the head. He hit the back of his head on the ground when he was sacked by Dolphins nose tackle Josh Tupou, and his arms appeared to seize up immediately. He remained on the field for roughly 10 minutes before he was loaded onto a stretcher and taken away. Now, I just got finished speaking about Lamar Jackson and his fully guaranteed contract that he wants. This is the reason why a lot of organizations don't want to give fully guaranteed contracts, because of the injury risk. But this is why the players want fully guaranteed contracts, because of the injury risk. So it's how do I feel? I feel the players should get fully guaranteed contracts, because an injury can take you out and you may not be able to play ever again. That's what I believe. Or find out a way. Well, they do have a way where they guarantee, like if the contract is a certain amount of money, let's just say $100 million, and then they'll guarantee like $50 million, something like that. So that's just a number I'm throwing out there. They do guarantee some money. They just don't guarantee the whole thing like they do in baseball and basketball. But football is a truly violent sport. Football and hockey can be violent, because you can get checked into the wall, to the walls and everything. You can get hit on the middle of the ice. But football is just violent. Football and boxing, and I say boxing a little bit more than UFC, because with UFC the ref comes in and just stops the fight. With boxing, the ref always asks you to keep going. Boxing, they keep going when they probably shouldn't keep going. So, but with those sports, you get all your money. So a lot of people are looking at this situation and be like, this is why Lamar Jackson wants. That's why he wants that money. That's exactly why he wants that money. I mean, exactly why he wants that money, and why and he, by his play, he deserves the money. I mean, you saw what he did to the Patriots, and this is a Bill Belichick team. Bill Belichick is just a great coach, and he usually takes away your biggest strength. And he takes away your biggest strength, and then you're left weak. Couldn't do that to Lamar Jackson. So kudos to Lamar Jackson. Also, other players that played well last week. Devonta Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles. He what they do with the Eagles, they give you like a Batman cape if you're like the player of the game. And then he got the Batman cape. He had a real good game in that game. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins played pretty well, but DeAndre Swift got hurt. He hurt his shoulder, and he had a gimpy ankle as well. According to Yahoo Sports, the Detroit Lions are probably going to sit down DeAndre Swift until after the bye week, so I believe he'll be sat down for about 3 weeks. So fantasy owners, you might want to try to pick up Jamal Williams or Craig Reynolds. In most leagues, Jamal Williams is already picked up. So the Steelers and the Browns. Really, it was Jacoby Brissett for me in that game. Really played really well. I'm not gonna say extremely well, but he played really well. The Jags and the Chargers, I didn't see that. It was a complete blowout. Trevor Lawrence played lights out that game. He played really well. Dolphins and the Bills. That surprised me that the Dolphins beat the Bills. I had the Bills in that game, but the Dolphins came through. It's a division game. Division games are normally tight. Normally our fault. Who else played? Yes. Aaron Rodgers. He always tries to play good games against Brady because we consider Brady the GOAT, but some people consider Rodgers that bad man. He's really good, but the GOAT, he has 7 rings. He has more Super Bowl rings than some organizations, including my Eagles. We only got 1. Yeah. America's team. I'm saying that sarcastically. The Cowboys. And with the Giants, Saquon actually had a really good game. Saquon had a good game. Tony Pollard had a good game. So you might want to think about starting him for fantasy if you got him. Then we have the unfortunate situation of email. What can we say? Just a sad situation because he's going to lose millions of dollars, and he probably won't coach in the NBA ever again because people are big on trust. Can you trust this man around your wife? And if you can't do that, then you may have to either go overseas or settle for a Division II job or a lower end D1 gig. Because and then the thing is, being a black man, it's not a lot of it's always hard for sometimes it's hard for black coaches to get jobs in the NBA, and it's not that owners are going to say, oh, because he's black, I'm not going to hire you because you do go messed up. It's just that you're just like, man, you got a job at a high-profile organization, and you messed it up over something trivial as a sexual relationship. It's just you just gotta think. You just gotta be smarter than that. Definitely gotta be smarter than that, and understand that some things are just more important than those needs. Some things are just way more important than the needs to pleasure yourself, whether it be physical or whether it be monetary wise. because Brett Favre couldn't resist himself. Like I said, he wasn't Robin Hood, he was Hood Robin. He was taking money from a welfare pot, taking money from people that really needed it. And he was told that this might be illegal, and he still went on and did it. So, I mean, Dan Orlovsky said it best on First Take. He said, sometimes you just shouldn't meet your heroes. I mean, what's done in the dark is always going to come to the light. And it's just unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Some boxing news. Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, on for November. That's a big fight. Big fight. It's in Vegas. If you've ever been to Vegas for a fight night, it's electric. I've been to a fight in Vegas. It's just something different. It's just when you go to because it's usually always in the casino, and when you go see the fight, you go towards the boxing ring, and you could just feel the pulse. And then when I walked in, the first person I saw was Floyd Mayweather Sr. I saw him, and he was wearing a silk suit, and he had this really good-looking woman with him, and he was sitting in the section I was sitting in. I was thinking that he had enough money to sit a little closer, and he had a really nice suit on, and he was eating some nachos. I said, I hope you don't get no cheese on that nice silk suit. And then when we left, he left, and we left, and the crowd just followed him. I mean, man, those Mayweathers. but something about fight night, you all. And I hope that you get to at least watch the fight on pay-per-view, because that's going to be a special fight, as well as Fury and Joshua. That's also going to be a special fight. Like I said before, I have Crawford winning that fight, late stoppage, and I have Fury winning either by stoppage over Joshua or by unanimous decision. And Clarissa Shields, I have her winning her fight over Savannah Marshall. Clarissa Shields is the real deal. If she wins that fight, Clarissa Shields will probably jump over Katie Taylor for the pound-for-pound #1 woman boxer in the world. And she'll probably fight a couple more fights in the squared ring, and then she'll go back to the octagon. She's really been working on her ground game. So we shall see. We shall see. It's a whole different world when you get into that octagon, though, because boxers not used to getting kicked in the face. So I'm looking forward to all of these fights. This is the Keep It 1 Minute Show. Be back with Sean P.
Let me tell you.
Oh.
Okay. Because you need me to be ready. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You all right? You seem like you're falling asleep.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so what's going on with this interview? Is this coming on? Are you introducing this?
I was told he had an interview, so I can introduce it. What's the guy's name? He didn't even know.
Robert Littal? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Robert Littal. Okay. And I thought it was gonna go on at the end, like at the very end of the show.
Why is it pulling this one? This is the long one. I gotta make sure that it doesn't pull that one. Okay, you ready?
Right.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Keeping 1 Million show with Sean P. You can reach the radio station through our social media handles. Facebook at KRDP.radio. Twitter at KRDP_radio. Instagram at KRDP_radio. You can reach me on Instagram at SP Mills. You also can call in to the request line at 602-633-2662. That is, once again, 602-633-2662. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are leading the Miami Dolphins 27-15. Actually, no, sorry. That's the end of the fourth quarter. They won the game. Won it by 12 points. Let's see. All right. It's, Teddy Bridgewater. He had 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had to come in for Tua because Tua was hurt. If you don't know, Tua was sacked and his head hit the turf and his arm seized up. He had to be carted off. So prayers go up to that brother. Hope he gets better. Joe Burrow, he was 20 for 31, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. Moistert was 15 carries for 69 yards. Joe Mixon, 24 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. For the receivers, Tyreek Hill, 10 receptions, 160 yards. T. Higgins, 7 receptions, 124 yards, and 1 touchdown. So Cincinnati won that game. They are going to be 2-2. Dolphins are going to be 3-1. But that's not the big story. The big story is the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Tua. That type of injury, he's probably not going to be back for a few weeks. So some fantasy owners who have Tua might want to rush to pick up Teddy Bridgewater or another quarterback. This is the dangers of football. So that's why Lamar Jackson wants that guaranteed money. And I almost forgot about this story. If you hadn't heard about Myles Garrett flipped over his Porsche. They called it a small accident, but I don't know how you call something if you flip your car over a small accident. But they said that he is doing well. He wasn't seriously injured. So I'm glad to hear that he was able to walk away. They said the accident was self-inflicted, so more than likely he was going way too fast. Also, in the news, the big game that people are looking forward to is the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. I predict that Lamar Jackson is going to have a heck of a game. And we will be back for the Keeping 1 Million show.
It's just that interview is 16 minutes. So I wanted to make sure you had enough time.
I didn't know the interview was going to come out that quick. I would have introduced it. All right.
Well, I was trying to
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean for you to go to a break. I meant
Oh,
for you to go to that.
sorry about that.
So we just need to work on that. That's all right. That's cool. So were you not aware of how long the interview was?
No, I was aware. I thought it was. You said 16. I thought it was 12. I thought it was 14.
No, it says 16. That's a long interview. I hope he ain't just rambling on about bullshit.
But you know, I can see how doing the show and doing the board could be like really consuming for some people. Some people, I believe there are people out there that could do it, but I can see how for at least I would prefer if I was doing a show that I would either just be doing that or just be doing this with somebody.
So one thing I would recommend is that when you are on the air, you sound more alive, because you sound like you're about to fall asleep.
Oh, okay.
That's why I asked you.
No, I'm good.
Because when you sound like you're about to fall asleep,
The audience
listener tunes off.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Other than that, you good. You keep it moving, and that's cool. But you got to sound more peppy and more alive.
Okay.
And stuff. You know.
All right.
And then if you guys need a computer that has ESPN or some type of scores on it, let us know so that we can figure that out, because I can't have y'all on here going trying to find the stuff on your phone.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work. So if I need to figure out a way to get a third computer screen in here and have that just be scores or something, we can figure that out.
Where I could just look up and like,
Right.
oh, like, cause I did Tua got hurt. It's just
Like we need to pull some of these down and put a TV in here or a monitor. You know, that's fine, but I need y'all to communicate with me.
Okay.
He pissed somebody off. That's all that is. That don't make sense. What does the internet is going to internet mean? Oh, shoot.
Out there, you know.
Sorry, YouTube viewers.
What did
you don't
make
even know
of
what we're
the
talking about.
actual story that came out, and
I forgot
there
they can't
even
hear
more
it.
to
We
come
gotta
out, because the
set it
actual
up to where
story
we
is
can patch
very
the sound in so they can hear.
murky, you know, and very kind of salacious, to say the least. What did you think about that story coming out, and is there more to come?
Well, I think we can all come to the conclusion there's more there than what's been, reported. I think there's a reason that the Celtics are trying to keep a lid on it. I also think there's a reason why the mainstream media is kind of being hesitant to bring it out. I think if this was like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it'd all be out by now. But I think a lot of people are concerned about being canceled, saying the wrong thing, being called work, like all type of some weird stuff that, people talk about now that doesn't really allow people to speak as freely as they would like to. I think there's more. And I think what will determine if more comes out is just simply who decides to talk and if they can keep everybody under wraps. I got the feeling, and this is just my opinion, there's nothing factual that I know about this, but I just got the feeling that the Celtics were trying their best to put a lid on it. And anybody that could possibly leak more information out there, or who would want to go public or maybe file a lawsuit, they're trying to take care of that behind the scenes so it doesn't get out. So I would say it's 50-50. I don't know what the networks and all of them are doing right now. They could be investigating the entire thing, but I think if you don't hear anything like in the next week or so, then we really never really truly found out what happened, but we know it wasn't just what they told us.
Right. Now I'm gonna switch real quick to boxing because of Shakur Stevenson. He had a great fight.
10 minutes left in the interview.
You know, he went overweight, a pound 6 ounces overweight, lost his belt at 130. Would you expect to see him at 135 and possibly 140?
Yeah, I think he's probably going to go all the way up. The way his body is and the way he fights, he's going to be on that trajectory where he may end up at welterweight or maybe max out at super welterweight. When you have his type of fighting style, that carries. I mean, he's never going to be a big puncher. He's never going to be somebody that's just knocking people out. His volume and defense and things of that nature. And the fact that he can't make 130 right now at 25 years old, that lets me know that, when he hits his 30s and things of that nature, maybe when he's at his peak, his physical peak, he may be 140, 147. But he has an opportunity to be a 4, possibly 5 weight division champion. There's no excuse, though, for losing weight. I mean, for not making weight. You sign the contract. It's not fair to your opponent who has to cut down and make the weight. So I don't give him a pass for that. You have to be a professional. If you sign the contract, make the weight by any means necessary. If you can't make the weight, then, readjust the contract or you move up or whatever you have to do, because you can't just have people just coming in and being weight bullies, because that's not fair, to the opponent. But, yeah, he has the potential to be a 4 or 5 weight division, champion. I think right now he'll be favored over anybody at 135. But those are good fights to potentially have with Devin Haney and Lomachenko, and the 140, Teofimo Lopez is there. You got Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. I mean, there's big money, big fights that are there for him, and I can see his career trajectory. Really, sky's the limit for it.
Yeah, and hopefully the promoters and these networks try to come together and make these fights happen, because, I mean, you just said Tank Davis versus, oh, man, that'd be an excellent fight.
Yeah.
Even the Lomachenko coming out of, I think he's having a fight in December. He's coming out of being a military, out in Ukraine. So, he's ready to fight.
In his tone.
I just don't want to see.
He sounds excited.
It happening as far as what happened with Bud Crawford happens to Stevenson.
Be honest,
and,
but,
what do you think about that fight, Bud Crawford, Earl Spence? You think that's going to be the fight of the year?
Well, I hope they get it signed. I mean, it's really taken.
They got it signed.
I mean,
they got that fight signed. But Crawford Spence.
This year, they had called Bud out. Bud has no contractual.
I didn't even realize they had female boxers.
Yeah.
How long have they been doing that?
For a while now.
So there's been plenty of time to get this done, and they're kind of coming.
Quite a while, actually.
I don't know that I want to watch that. That would just be weird for me.
To make sure everything's in place.
Some of them are trash, but like you get some that's like,
Rarely we get, guys that are kind of these 50-50 type of fights where you can see it going, different, either way. If you've been waiting for so long, you don't want to keep pushing it back past its sale date. We see what happens when that's going on. I give Spence a little bit of a favor. He's a little bit, younger. A little bit more active, but Bud, even though he's 34, he hasn't had a lot of tough fights. He hasn't been in a lot of wars or anything like that. But it's a 50-50 fight, and I hope they can get over the line. But it has to get done probably the next 7 days or so.
Right. You don't want the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation to happen with that. And you know how that ended up. It was a great fight, but it should have happened years and years ago.
Years ago.
Going with the heavyweight division with this Fury and Johnson fight. That's a fight that should have happened years ago, in my opinion. Do you think this will be it for the heavyweight division? I mean, I don't see anything else happening after that. I mean, is there any up and coming heavyweights that may, have that division have any spotlight on it?
Well, I think there's a lot of good fights that can still happen at heavyweight. I think I never thought Fury really wanted to fight Joshua. I think Joshua called his bluff, and he had to figure out a way to get out of it. But you still have, Fury's always kind of a bit of a nutcase, so you never know what he's doing from day to day. But I mean, you still have Fury, potentially, Usyk. You have Joshua, even though he's coming off 2 losses, still a huge draw. So you have potential Wilder fights. Even a Wilder Andy Ruiz fight has some sizzle to it. You do have some young and upcoming heavyweights, like Jared Big Baby Anderson is coming up, and you have some guys like we just saw with Joyce, Felix Hergorovich, Zhang Zhang. You got guys. It's a much better. The heavyweight division is a much healthier place than what it was, during the Klitschko, era. Maybe because these guys are a little bit closer in talent, so each fight can go, various different, ways. So I think, in 2023, I think we're still going to get some really good, heavyweight fights, and I'm glad that Wilder's back because you can put him in that mix, and any given Saturday or any given fight, he can knock somebody there next week. But we also know that he has the potential to get knocked in the next week, and that's the type of fight that we want to see.
Yeah, exactly. That Joyce fight, that to me is the knockout of the year.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
Yes, that left hand, right, bam. It was just very sweet, with the sweet science, as we call it. And one last thing, you guys reported a lot of the salacious things in Black Sports Online. Jordan Pippen situation is that's a real thing, isn't it? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen together. Now my thing is, I still don't know why she's using this man's last name, for one. I don't think anyone even had talked about that. But two, how sticky is this situation since everyone's all over it?
I mean, it's strange if you really think about it. Like, it's something that, like, if you saw on TV, you would be like, it's weird kind of plot line, Right. I mean, I just can't. It's just odd that a woman in her late 40s, almost 50, would even find her ex-husband's, teammate, and not just any teammate, not like the 8th man, and not like, not like Tony Kukoc. I mean, we're talking about Michael Jordan. Would find his son, attractive. Like that, the thought process around it is just mind-boggling, to me. And the fact that that this kid was probably like 4 or 5 years old when you started dating your husband. I'm sure, there's pictures of Mike with his kids in the locker room and stuff. I'm sure you met him when he was a child.
I've overheard people say that she actually said she's changed his diapers or babysitted them, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it was like that.
What are they talking about?
I don't think they were that type of friends.
I don't know.
I mean, it would be like,
I have to look it up.
It would be like LeBron, bringing, his kids to, back when he was in Cleveland. And then, Kyrie Irving, or I guess he got boys, but somebody, Kyrie Irving, wife, 20 years later dating like Bronny or something. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's
very
strange. It's not a thing, but this is what
it's weird, but as long as he's an adult.
I don't know exactly what it is.
What is this conversation about?
Counseling indeed, beyond that as well, because, that's a little bit of a nudge at her ex-husband.
It was a dude,
and all that.
Wouldn't be tripping.
It was very, very sticky situation, but
older
all
dudes
eyes are
date
on it,
younger
you know what I
women
mean?
all the time.
Last question: is there anything else that's
are
going
they
on
talking
with,
about an older
Black
woman
Sports
dating a
Online,
younger guy? Is that what
for us
this
to
is?
know about it?
Yeah, so-
Anything You have cooking, over there.
That's sexist.
Well, I'm always doing a little something. I'm doing a couple of things, with my podcast, keep that same energy. We're doing the YouTube shorts, headlines with Robin Littell, where I kind of tackle the headlines, the crazier headlines, of the day. But, we're just out here just trying to pump out information and we try to be entertaining and, keep things light, keep things happy. Try to keep things positive. There's a lot of negativity online and just in the world. So, you try to keep everything positive. And also, I think it's remiss to say that also speak out of injustices that are going on against, people just in general, stuff like Brett Favre and things of that nature. So I always try to sprinkle that in because if we don't talk about it, who else will?
Exactly, and I appreciate you for coming on the Keep It 1 Million show. Robert Littell with BlackSportsOnline.com. Please.
Okay, we are back with the Keep It 1 Million show. That was Dwayne with Robert Littell with the Black Online Sports Network. And to Keep That Same Energy podcast, please check that out. Also, check out our social media handles at Facebook at KRDP.radio, Twitter at KRDP_radio, Instagram KRDP at KRDP_radio. And my social media is at SP Mills on Instagram. Our phone number here in the studio is 602-633-2662 if you want to call in. And they had a really good conversation, especially about the boxing. Shakur Stevenson.
Go to break.
Oh. And we will be back in a moment to talk about Shakur Stevenson.
Right. That's why I had to get you to cut to it because it was 16 minutes. And you only had 16 minutes left in the segment. You're doing good. Don't worry. I may be making funny faces, but you're all right.
No. I wasn't worried about that.
So this is your last segment, and you're gonna have about 17 minutes when we come back.
All right.
Or actually, since you broke a minute late, it'll be like 15 minutes, but that's fine. I'll give you your cues. All right, stand by.
Welcome back to the Keep It 1 Million show. You're listening to Sean P. The number to the studio is 602-633-2662. Facebook, you can reach us at KRDP.radio. Twitter at KRDP_radio. Instagram at KRDP_radio. You can reach me on Instagram at SP Mills. And if you were listening to that interview with Robert Towell. Very good interview, Dwayne did. The boxing was interesting because we talked about Shakur Stevenson not making weight. And Robert was correct. You signed a contract to make weight, you got to make weight. You have to make weight. I used to box a little bit when I was a kid. I used to wrestle as well. And it was important that we make weight. And if we didn't make weight, it was a bad look. So, and that was just in high school. So I can only imagine what it's like when you got money on the table. And it's a lot of things that go with that. But I am very excited about Shakur Stevenson because he can move up to 135, 140, 147. There's a lot of big fights there. Like they just said, they got Lomachenko there. I would love to see that. They got Teofimo Lopez. They have Tank Davis. They have a lot of fights up there for that. Also, fights that's happening this year. You have Katie Taylor that's fighting. She's trying to keep her pound for pound #1 status as the #1 boxer, female boxer in the world. But Claressa Shields, excuse me, Claressa Shields is fighting as well. She's fighting Savannah Marshall. So if Claressa Shields really handles Savannah Marshall, she probably will overtake Katie Taylor. And I know a lot of you are wondering, oh, well, why don't Katie Taylor and Claressa Shields fight? Well, Claressa Shields is a middleweight, Katie Taylor is a lightweight, so that's not going to happen. So they're totally different weight classes. Also, Tyson Fury and Joshua, December bout. It's going to happen in London, England. I was stationed in London for 3 years. Loved it. Well, I was stationed in England, but London, love London. London's a great city. The thing about it is, if they spin this correctly, they can actually, because King Charles will be coronated this year, they could possibly maybe merge stuff together and prop up the fight. So I'm looking forward to that fight. Tyson Fury really puts his punches together well. Anthony Joshua is always a good draw, but I have Tyson Fury winning that fight. I haven't won that fight. I really haven't won that fight. I believe he can get a stoppage, but I haven't won that fight in a unanimous decision. Then you have Terrence Bud Crawford and Earl Spence. That has a chance to be fight of the year, like they just talked about. They had a very good chance to be fight of the year. I have Crawford with a late stoppage, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spence outboxed him. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Just like I shouldn't be surprised about the Brett Favre situation. I know I've been talking about it all night, but I'm going to keep talking about it. Because Brett Favre has done some scandalous things with a cell phone. Now stop it there. Let's just say some inappropriate pictures. You didn't hear about that? Oh. He was he was sexting, pretty much. Sending body parts to a female worker. I don't know what her job was, but it was with the New York Jets, when he played for the New York Jets. So, So we shouldn't be surprised about Ime Udoka doing inappropriate things. I mean, these things go on in the workplace. I was in the military for 20 years. Trust me, I've seen some things like that go on in the workplace. However, I always said, like Stephen A. Smith likes to say, ain't no joint worth millions of dollars. Well, guess what? Ain't no sex worth millions of dollars. Trust me, if it was that important to that man, he should have just found a local woman, a local good-looking woman, and just did his thing with her. Did not have to do anything with someone on the team to risk your livelihood, and he probably won't never coach in the NBA again. I don't want that to happen because he was a really good coach. I mean, look at what he did with the Boston Celtics. He literally took the Boston Celtics from, they were already a great team, but he took them to the finals. He took them to the finals, and he was only there for 1 year. He took them to the finals. So, and they took 2 games off the Golden State Warriors, which are just one of the greatest teams, one of the greatest dynasties to ever be. And next week, that might be something we'll talk about. We'll talk about dynasties in basketball. We'll do Get with Dwayne. We'll talk about that because that's always an interesting subject, and it's one team that's always left out of the dynasty talk. And I want to know why they are left out of the dynasty talk. I actually probably know why, but anyway. So back to Brett Favre. They say Robin Hood stole from the rich and gave to the poor, but he wasn't Robin Hood. He was Hood Robin, pretty much. He was just taking money from the welfare system, and that's not cool. That's not cool at all. It's a sad tale when you see heroes like that do, or people that people actually looked up to him and see him do things like that. It's just not a good look, Brett. Not a good look at all. Neither was the cell phone, but we overlooked that. He's a Hall of Famer though, for whatever that's worth. Aaron Judge hit his 61st home run, and so he tied Roger Maris. And Roger Maris' son said he wants Aaron Judge to own the record, which he believes the record is 62, but we all know the record is 73. held by Barry Bonds. I don't care what anybody says. That's the record. Barry Bonds is the home run king. Stop it. You know, PEDs. Nobody was screaming that when McGwire and Sosa was hitting all those home runs and bringing money into baseball. But then they changed everything up years later when Jose Canseco came out with his book, Juice, which was actually on the bestsellers list. It's on the New York Times bestsellers list. And a lot of baseball players hated him for it. He came out with a sequel to the book, but didn't do as well as the last book. Also, make sure you got your fantasy football teams together, get your rosters together. I played T. Higgins today. He got me 25 points. You always got to check your rosters. Check your rosters. Make sure you know that you got a Thursday game. And let me drop some game on you about fantasy football. If it comes down to Monday night and the person that you're playing on Monday night doesn't have anybody playing, and you don't have and you have a defense playing on Monday night, this is what you do. And you're only up by like 3 points. Take your defense and put them on the bench. Because if your defense goes -5, guess what? You lost the game. So just gotta pay attention. That's not cheating. It's not cheating. It's just playing smart. It's playing smart. That's all it is. You can do the same thing with players too. You can do the same thing, but usually it's with a defense. That happens with a defense. Also, some fantasy players that you should definitely play today. Oh, not today. This weekend. Definitely play with Lamar Jackson. Don't ever bench him until it comes to his bye. Yeah, the bye week. Also, pick up Teddy Bridgewater because Tua got hurt today. Or look for a quarterback. You might want to look into Devonta Smith. You want to play Devonta Smith. Because I foresee him having another good game this weekend against the Jags. Doug Peterson is coming back to Philadelphia to play my beloved Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. He will not get booed. He will get cheered. He is the only Super Bowl winning coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. We hope to change that this year. But he is that. Dougie P. I remember when he was a quarterback. He backed up Brett Favre. Go figure. Also, another starter. Might want to look at Saquon Barkley. Starting Saquon. Saquon's been doing good. He's doing better than what I thought he was going to do. Also, Tony Pollard. Look at Tony Pollard. For some reason, Ezekiel Elliott has been on the downslide, but he was a great running back when he came in. Real good, solid. Man, he was scary. But running backs tend to only last about 5 years, especially that type of running back that he was. He was a bruising running back. Running backs now are more like you got your Alvin Kamara's and your DeAndre Swifts and your Christian McCaffreys, which are all starters this week, except for DeAndre Smith. According to Yahoo Sports, they are going to sit Detroit Lions are going to sit DeAndre Smith. They're going to sit him till after the bye week. So you might want to keep an eye on that and pick up Jamal Williams or Craig Reynolds. Jamal Williams, especially, you want to pick him up. He's the one to pick up. You might want to sit Cordell Patterson from the Atlanta Falcons because they're playing the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns have a really good defense. Prayers up to Myles Garrett. He got into a car accident. He flipped his Porsche. They said only minor injuries. They said it was a minor accident, but if you flip your car, I consider that a major accident. So prayers up to that brother. That's a big brother in a Porsche. Man, prayers up to him, though. Also, let's just, I'm not gonna say pray for it. Let's just try to help Malika Andrews out. The young lady just got a little ahead of herself and tried to invade Stephen A. Smith's show, and he had to put it into place. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, Malika. You know, I know you want to empower young ladies and everything, but we don't have all the information with the Boston Celtics situation, and you need to just calm down when you're going at other reporters. That's one thing I learned in my 46 years of existence. You know, when you work in a place where there's not a lot of you, meaning like a lot of reporters or anything, you just want to have it's not that you want to be liked by everybody, you just want to have a good relationship with everybody. And raising your voice and telling people to stop it and pretty much telling people to shut up on their own show, it's not a good look. So let's just pump the brakes on Malika. And I'm not going to call for you to be fired like the internet's doing. I think everybody should have a right to make a living. You didn't do anything egregious. You just were really passionate about what you were talking about, and it just went a little left. And let's see here. Okay. Says they got Tua at the hospital. He is undergoing X-rays, and they say that he's doing better. That's good. That's good. You don't like to see that type of injury. You just really don't like to see that type of injury. And I saw the hit. And it didn't look like a bad hit. It's just a no tackle came in and just curled up on him. But prayers up to him. And this is why a lot of organizations don't want to give guaranteed contracts to their players. But Lamar Jackson is definitely balling out of control and betting on himself and winning. So when we come back next week, Dwayne and myself will talk about the Tua injury and the Lamar Jackson situation, as well as the boxing matches coming up. So see you next week. Stay blessed. This is the Keep It 1 Million Show, Sean P.
Okay, you're clear. Okay, and say goodbye to the YouTube audience.
Goodbye, YouTube audience. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you.